All right, now it's time to switch gears a little bit. We're going to go back to dispelling some myths about adolescent dog nutrition this time. We're going to bring back Dr. Judy to tackle some common misconceptions and to provide some of your valuable insights, Dr. Judy, to help us understand our furry friends' needs. So are you ready to go round two, talking adolescents, Dr. Judy?
Sure.
All right, let's go ahead and do that now. Number one, adolescent dogs need high protein diets to build muscle.
Not necessarily. Protein is very important for muscle development, but what we want is a balanced diet with the level of protein that is appropriate for that breed, that activity level, that size of dog. And so again, it has to be tailored to the individual needs. But protein is key for growth and overall health. So we want to make sure that we are giving them the best quality protein that we can. And at this stage, AFCO moves them down we're moving from 22% down to 18% protein as adults as the bare minimum. In my world, we use a lot more protein than that, just because that's what dogs would choose and that would be what their natural drive would take them to. But we want to make sure that we have everything in balance, that we've got the proper protein fat ratios, and then some fiber in there as well.
Got it. Myth number two, adolescent dogs should avoid all human food to prevent digestive issues. I know what you might say, Dr. Judy.
False.
False. False.
So there are some human foods that are dangerous. So grapes,
Yes.
raisins, chocolate, onions, we definitely want to avoid those. But
Yes,
anything that, other than that, anything that's healthy for you is really healthy for them. It's important to focus on getting a balanced diet in there, but don't be afraid to give them pieces of broccoli and green beans and blueberries and apples and bananas and pineapples. Those are so healthy for them. And if you bake a chicken breast and it's skinless, boneless chicken breast, and you want to give them little bits of that, that is absolutely fine. But we do want their diet to be balanced, and they can eat fresh whole foods.
Oh, I love that. All those nutrient dense foods. You're making me hungry over here, Dr. Judy. All right. Myth number three, adolescent dogs require special supplements for joint health.
Nope. Debunked.
Okay.
Most adolescent dogs don't need joint supplements unless they are a breed that is very prone to joint problems, or if they're already having problems. If they're already limping and you've taken x-rays and we know they have elbow dysplasia or hip dysplasia or something that is going to be a big problem for them moving into the future, those guys we might want to consider giving them a supplement. But what I really prefer to see are natural sources of glucosamine and chondroitin. So we can get that through things like deer antler velvet, green lip mussels. We'll get some from our bone broth. If you're a raw feeder, from chewing bones, the raw bones, they'll get that. So look for those natural sources of glucosamine and chondroitin. We really, if they're on a good balanced diet and they're getting some fresh whole foods, they should have enough glucosamine and chondroitin that they're making on their own, again, unless they're one of those special needs cases.
Got it. Myth number four, adolescent dogs can eat as much as they want without gaining weight.
No. Over 50% of dogs in this country are overweight or obese. And so we don't want to free feed. We don't want to allow them to just eat all they want. It's very important to do portion control based on the activity level, size, breed. A lot of things go into that.
Got it. And finally, myth number five, adolescent dogs should switch to adult dog food as soon as possible.
No.
No.
I mean, they need to be on that puppy food until they've finished that growth, until they are actually adults. nutrients. If we stop the puppy food too soon, we may not getting the nutrients, the calcium, the phosphorus, the fat, the protein in those levels that we need for those growth stages. Because these adolescents, while they're getting bigger, they are still growing. It slows down toward the end of adolescence, but they are still in a growth phase. So it is important that we are using a balanced puppy diet for them.
Balanced is the word. There we go. There you go, dog moms. We appreciate you, Dr. Judy. We want to hear from you, dog moms. If you have any questions about raising an adolescent dog, go ahead and drop them in the comments below, and Dr. Judy will be answering them shortly for you. All right. So now that we have debunked some common myths, Dr. Judy, about adolescent dog nutrition, we want to shift our focus to your advice. So can you share with our viewers the top 5 dietary tips for keeping adolescent dogs healthy and happy?
Okay, number 1, balanced nutrition. We keep saying the word
Yes.
balance, but it's there for a reason. And if your dog eats an unbalanced meal, but you've run out of dog food and all you've got is eggs, and you decide to make scrambled eggs for the family, and you want to give your dog scrambled eggs, that's absolutely fine for a meal. He's not going to die from eating an unbalanced meal here and there. But overall, we want to be looking for that balanced nutrition, particularly during these growth phases. Number 2, portion control, because again, we don't want fat teenagers. It's not a good look, and it's not good for their health in the long run. So follow feeding guidelines based on their age, their activity level, because again, you may have that couch potato adolescent who wants to watch TV all day, or you may have that sports adolescent who wants to run all day. So you've got to look at your dog. Number 3 is that exercise component. So they're full of energy, and they do need regular exercise, mental stimulation, get them out, get them walking, let them go on a safari. So we call them loose leash walks. Even though you want to be training them to walk nicely without pulling, we do want to give them a little bit of freedom, maybe on a 6 or 8 foot lead if you're in a safe area where they can kind of wander on their own a little bit, not be, pulled along and having to pay attention all the time. They do need a little fun in their life. Dental care, really important that we get started on dental care this early in life. Get your dog used to having your fingers in their mouth, whether you start with a finger brush or a pediatric toothbrush. A good way to get them used to that is put bone broth on there, because it tastes good, and you can get in there and they're like, oh, those are pretty good. And then you can move up to using other things. We have a dental drop product, but we like to mix that with coconut oil, or you can mix your probiotics with coconut oil and brush the teeth with that. Very, very healthy way. But you want to get them started, even though they may still have some baby teeth in there, get them used to having their mouth handled. You can also, there are a lot of dental additives that can go in the food or the water. There's a lot of easy ways to do that, but it's really important to get started on dental care early, because over 80% of dogs have periodontal disease by age 3. So really, really important to start working on that. And then 5th, veterinary checkups. Make sure that you are scheduling their regular checkups. I know that when they're young, we think, oh, they're just really healthy and they don't need to be checked. And I'm not talking about scheduling a shot visit. I am talking about scheduling an examination visit. In my opinion, the examination is so much more important than the shots. Not that I'm saying we shouldn't ever have them. I'm just saying that exam is so critical, because your veterinarian knows what is normal and what is abnormal, and finding things early is very, very critical to being able to deal with problems.
Yes, early detection. I mean, what fantastic insights and tips there, Dr. Judy. Some really creative ideas too. I love that for the canine dental health. Really great with the coconut oil. I'm going to use that. We're going to go ahead and turn now to some of our viewers' questions. So our first one, Dr. Judy, is from Nix Perez. Nix wants to know, what is the risk if I don't want my 2-year-old to have a baby? Should I have her spayed? So I guess they just want your input on whether or not a 2-year-old should be spayed. What is your take, Dr. Judy?
So there's a lot of new information on this, and for most of my veterinary profession, it was always recommended to spay your dogs before their first heat, so around 6 months of age. And we've moved away from that because we know that the hormones that are there play very, very, very important roles. We actually did a whole focus week on this. We have tons of blogs, and this information on spay and neuter is in my books, because it's when to spay or neuter, or whether to spay or neuter, is an individual decision based on your pet's lifestyle. But we have lots of information on studies showing the incidence of pyometra, which is a uterine infection, the incidence of mammary cancer if they're left unspayed, because we have great studies from Europe where they don't spay and neuter unless it is a medical life-threatening necessity. So dogs over there are left intact. We do things very differently over here under the guise of population control. And I admit that that is an issue over here. I think we're just irresponsible pet owners. So whether or not you have her spayed, Nix, I would recommend that you go to drjudymorgan.com and just type in spay and neuter, and a bunch of blogs will come up, and you can read the information on that to help you make your decision.
Yes, so much valuable information there, dog moms. Our next question is from Kathy Avidikian, and she asks, does goat colostrum aid dogs with allergies, especially during Florida allergy season? So goat colostrum, does that help with allergies?
It can. There are a lot of things that we can use for allergy season, but colostrum is one of them because it does help regulate the immune system. So it is something that you could try, but there are a lot of other things. Again, on our website, all you got to do is go on the little magnifying glass, type in allergies, and it's going to bring up a ton of resources and a ton of different products and how they work and why they would work. So bee pollen can help, quercetin, CoQ10, local honey. There's a lot of things that can be used that are natural.
That's so good to know. Our next question is from Nix Nico. And Nix asks, what are some heart-healthy foods for our dogs?
So heart-healthy foods are going to be things that help build blood and also help move blood, because the heart is all about circulation and getting the blood flowing. So you may have heard of something called golden paste, which is made with turmeric, cinnamon, black pepper, and you can use coconut oil or bone broth. We have a recipe for that on the website and a video on how to make it. But that is a very, very good circulation support. It's also good anti-cancer. And then like feeds like, so incorporating heart into the diet, whether you use freeze-dried treats. I buy chicken hearts at the grocery store and cut those up and add those to every single meal because a lot of my dogs have heart disease and they love them. So it makes it a really nice treat for them. Dark leafy greens are also very good. So kale and collards, dandelion greens. We don't think about eating dandelions. I wish everybody would stop spraying them and start harvesting them because they are a super food for our dogs. And again, very good for circulation and for draining any excess, particularly with dogs prone to heart failure, that will help drain excess fluid buildup in the lungs.
Okay, fantastic, Dr. Judy. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for watching this Dog Mom News clip. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome and informative Dog Mom News content. And while you're at it, ring the bell so that you can find out about more content in real time. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, everyone.